I did want to go back a little bit to what kind of brought J Reel to Dead Pit. It was such a different time back then. And we're talking about when your movie Dawn, which I brought out here, you made the movie in 2003, but the DVD was like 2006.
Yeah, that's when Tempe put it out.
A lot of people may not recall Tempe's method back in the day. They come out with a ton of stuff on a monthly basis, pretty much. Most of the time, Tempe would release a lot of these regional horror movies and purchase them up and everything like that. Now, Dawn was one of the very best ones that we ever, and that's no bullshit, because there was, to be honest with you, it was a lot of really bad stuff that Tempe did. Now, they're no longer around, so I don't feel as bad I mean, they're kind of doing the digital thing, I guess.
Yeah, he's still putting things out on some kind of streaming service or something like that, and he still puts out. He did a remaster of Dead Next Door, I think, about a year ago, and put a bunch of put that out on Blu-ray and stuff, and movies like some of his older movies that he personally directed, he put out, and did remasters of and stuff like that. So he's still functional. He's still doing something.
Yeah, the website is still up and everything, but as far as the way that he was doing this stuff back in 2006, 2007, 2008 time frame, I don't know if anybody's really doing that anymore. And we were on the mailing list, man. We got almost all this stuff that he was bringing out around this time frame. But a lot of people, I think that's kind of a lost era. Like, a lot of people don't really recall that time frame, and it may have been what led to for us to be burnt out. Like, Tempe would come out with stuff monthly, like quite a bit of stuff. Lionsgate, there was all kinds of other smaller labels, and the Tartan Asia Extreme stuff and all that. But Dawn, and we'll get back to that, it's almost 20 years old at this point. You mentioned before.
Yeah, what's kind of sent shivers down my spine, not only turning 56 myself, but the little girl that played Dawn, Casey, turned 30 in last July. 30 years old. She was 10 years old when we filmed her in Dawn, and to turn 30. And she's got two little girls of her own, and her oldest just turned 11, so she's a year older than Casey herself was when she filmed Dawn. So
isn't that wild?
Yeah, it's wild. And then just, I believe it because I'm living it, but at the same time, it's just almost unbelievable that so much time has passed, and it just seems like it's unreal just to put that in perspective, the passage of time and how much time has passed. It just doesn't feel like it,
Something else that was interesting too, we were talking about Netflix. So Tempe had a deal with Netflix back in the day too. I think we were talking about that. It just tells you how much things have changed, because you would never, ever in a million years see any low-budget independent film of any sort.
And that's a little bit of a shame, because, and Dawn streamed at the time on Netflix. That's a little bit of a shame because you could find just pretty much anything that was independent or shot on video and all that. And of course, there's the good and bad of that, because during that time that you're speaking of, the early 2000s, 2002, 2003, and then around the time that Tempe picked it up, 2006, that was when the digital video format was prevalent. And that's what Dawn was shot on. So everybody was making a movie because it was so cheap to do it. Now that just everyone that could buy a little, digital video camera and could edit on their computer. So everybody was putting a movie out, and that definitely has the good. There's actually a good and bad for that, because some of it is just, like you say, it's just terrible. But there was also some gems among those, among the pile. Mm-hmm. And you could find that on Netflix. You could find pretty much anything on Netflix at the time. You know, those little independent films but they cleaned house.
Yeah, I mean, not to say you're not going to find like there's a lot of great stuff on Netflix, but it's just not.
Oh yeah.
It's not the way it was. Like, it was very early on, the Netflix streaming. When did that really start catching on? Like 2008, 2009, something like that?
Yeah, it was around that time, because when Dawn was put on Netflix, it was primarily a DVD rental place. Netflix was mainly renting DVDs, you know. And they started that streaming. Yeah, I think that was around that time, around 2007, 2008, around that time they started to stream. And Dawn streamed for a while. That was a way how a lot of people saw the movie. That's a great promotional tool too. I mean, I don't know what kind of, I'm guessing it's a deal that J.R. Bookwalter did with Netflix at the time, just so they could have more content. And Netflix, in the first few years they did the streaming, is way different than what it is now, because, you know, you had legit blockbuster movies on there, some old stuff, old school, and it was kind of separated by genre. And you didn't have that many. I don't even recall what the first Netflix original show was, but that was probably a while back at this point, but now that's pretty much all you get on Netflix. How do you think the filmmaking aspect compared to, you know, when you made the movie in 2002, 2003 would compare to now? I mean, would it be more affordable to shoot a movie like that now? Because a lot of people are filming it with iPhones now. Well, yeah, as it is. Most people have a high definition camera in their pockets now. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, you know, Dawn all in cost around $4,000 because, you know, I had to buy a computer to edit it on. I had to buy the camera was about $2,500 that I shot it on. Now, yeah, it's a lot cheaper. You know, I shot my last little short film and the one I'm working on now with a DSLR camera that shoots in 1080p, little cheap plug-in microphone clipped onto the camera. Basically it's cost nothing.
It's just crazy how fast that technology has moved along too, because I would say 90% of the stuff that we put up on YouTube is completely done on a phone, as far as the editing and all that goes. iMovie on iPhone is so easy to use, and it's quick and it's simple. Give us the thumbs up.
Up your butt.
Like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a if you do.
I want you to. I want you to.
I don't care.
Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that, pal.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up. Subscribe. And click that bell. Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. DEADPIT on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows and fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.